Nuclear missile ready. Nuclear missile ready. Nuclear missile ready.
It is time, once again, ladies and gentlemen, for the arena. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. The other guy, he does still leave. It's kind of illegal to kill him. So, he gets to go home too, but he goes home with a lot less money. 1 second, guys. There we go. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the exciting Alpha Pro Series 126 versus Vindicta and Gerald, TVT for the ages, NA versus EU. We're just going to get started with the day here. I know everybody is super excited for this matchup. These two have a very storied history in StarCraft. Both of them WCS Challenger tier players. And this is going to be an exceptional matchup. Just going to get this first map underway here. Just trying to see what's going on. Looks like I'm having a little trouble here getting the maps to actually sign up. Let me just confirm a couple of things, ladies and gentlemen, just to make sure I get everything taken care of. My battle net's a little laggy today, so let me just try and fix this. Sorry about this for this slight delay. I know you guys are super excited for these guys to hop straight into it, because Gerald, he's very big in the Polish scene. He's a very excellent player. And Vindicta, he's made it to WCS a couple of times now, and he's looking to really pad himself with this win here. I'd like to remind everyone to make sure you're hydrating out there, because we have a lot of StarCraft coming up. And I am excited. I hope you guys too. As we're going to hop into Thunderbird for our first map of the day. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. After all, this is going to be an exciting one. I've kind of been waiting for it for a while now to see this kind of matchup. It's been a little bit since I've been able to cast the TVP, and especially versus these two spawning down here in the bottom corner representing Alpha X. It's Vindicta in a lovely blue color, going to be taking on this absolute legend up here. It's Gerald. So I'm sure everybody recognizes the format from before. It is going to be a best of 9, first to 5 series here, Winner takes 70% of the prize pool, while the other guy actually has to settle with a little 30% split. That raises the stakes a lot here, but it makes sure that everybody does go home with a little something, just to thank them for their time. After all, these guys are giving us quite a bit of their time to play such a long series. And especially since we do have a lot of big maps in the pool this season, these games can take a little bit, especially since, as a Terran player, it can be a little bit difficult to finish off a Protoss player unless you can get that early kind of damage in. The Protoss, he will have a couple of moments where he is very weak to certain types of play, especially very powerful pushes that can come in the early mid game. But if he's able to survive that, I think he will be in a good spot, just because Gerald has a very solid late game, and Vindicta will have to be ready for that if he's not able to get the damage done. But Vindicta is a very aggressive Terran in his own right, so he should have no problem getting that kind of damage done. And look at that, even just hiding this probe. The scariest thing in the world is a probe that you cannot see. This is pretty much Halloween to a Terran player. Just a bunch of probes that you have no idea where they are. And to start things off, we're going to go pretty standard. We've got that Adept coming on in. And essentially what the Adept is it's something that you can send across the map. It's not very costly. And what it does is it puts a little bit of pressure on the front in order to kind of distract from the Stargate tech that comes on through. And looks like so far Gerald's going to be super aggressive. He sees the Reaper. He's got the Kiss of Death, does that Reaper, but the Adept is just going to ship on forward. While we do have that second Adept, going to stay home and defend against this. Reaper, however, is not too impressed. You do actually need, I think, another building right there to fully wall it off, but so far, the Reaper is going to get in here and actually does get a good scout off on that Phoenix. He does not die to the Adept just yet, and will go down without seeing the Phoenix. That is so important that he sees that. If he doesn't know that it's Phoenix play, he might be suspecting that Oracle coming in, as that is a more standard kind of deal, although a bit of a mistake here by Gerald. Gonna lose that Adept for absolutely free. So overall, we will have to see how heavily Gerald does kind of pump into this Phoenix tech. If he looks like he's just going to stop at 3 for right now. He's already has the Robo facility on the way, so I kind of like this. Having 4 or 5 Phoenix does wonders for kind of keeping your opponent back at home, because he will need to defend against this. It's very annoying to kind of deal with. And as you can kind of see, Vindicta in a great position right now, just to kind of keep those guys from getting on the mineral line. Look at that, even going for the Cyclone, just being very safe versus this. Ooh, that is a big pickup for Vindicta right now. That will set Gerald back a little bit as it shaves the shields off. Makes it much more difficult to get in there. Very good bait on that Viking. Gonna try and get the Widow Mine, but no dice for right now. And behind us, it does look like we're either going to be seeing Colossus or Disruptors versus his Terran opponent. Both pretty good. I think if he's got some Phoenix out in the field, I think the Colossus might be the better option here, especially since it does... These guys kind of have forced a more standard Marine-style play out of his opponent, which means there will be less Marauders, and that's not really good when you're dealing with Colossus, especially once you get 3 on the field. Although, as I say that, he doesn't really have a lot of buffer for those Colossus. Like, overall, it is just the Phoenix and a couple of Adepts. He does get out of there without losing too many of the Phoenix. I think he's only lost one in this entire game. That is true, so good micro, really keeping him alive. All things considered, a scan going down. I think he was trying to go for the Observer, which he did get. And behind all this, it's kind of just a build-up time for both players. Either side really wants to move out and just to get their armies destroyed before it's time. And look at that! Another beautiful position on that Widow Mine. It's going to cost him another Phoenix. Vindicta just doing all the right moves to kind of slow Gerald down. Now this is kind of risky here. The Cyclones are nice to keep alive in the later stages. 4 Phoenix can easily take that out. But just another great couple of pickups here. And Vindicta actually going to come out on top. Beautiful play so far, and he is just really catching a stride here versus his opponent. Scan going down. He's going to reveal that it is indeed Colossus. He's got the second starport on the way, and he's really adjusting perfectly to what Gerald's doing here. Gerald needs to start making some moves, and we see that Templar Archives coming on down, and that is the best move you can make right now. That Colossus count is still rising. He's going to drop that guy right into the Hellfire. And overall, Gerald is still in a really nice position as he's still building up. He's got that +1 attack, +2/1 coming up, and his opponent only has 1/1 at the time being, and he has not started his armory, so it's only halfway complete right now. Upgrades are going to be super important in these next couple of fights, and it looks like Vindicta wants to force one before those upgrades kick in. Gerald doesn't really have a lot of vision out on the map, so he doesn't know that this is a possibility. He's just going to go for that 4th base and kind of keep his units on the high ground to, you know, kind of hide his full army strength. But unfortunately, at this point, Vindicta does have enough scans to kind of understand where his opponent's going to be. That is a lot of Vikings at home. Fourth base is going to go down, and Vindicta wisely just decides to get on out of there. There's just way too much Protoss for this small bio ball. If he had his whole army here, he would be able to engage that, but unfortunately, he is going to be pushed back, and it looks like Gerald wants to return the favor with the Warp Prism. Not entirely sure about this. He will have Storm, so that is really good. But does he have enough splash to deal with this Terran army? Is the big question here. He's going to have to get rid of those Vikings very early on. He doesn't have a ton of Stalkers here. So this might actually be a pretty bad position, although he does get a couple quick pickoffs and keeps the Vikings away. So a good start here, going to dislodge that 4th base location, but I just don't know if he can get up that ramp. Looks like he doesn't know it either, but he's going to give it a shot. Stalkers moving in the back. A couple of decent storms, but not a huge amount of damage on this army just yet. That will force Gerald to kind of just back off. So a bit of a soft contain here, but unfortunately Vindicta still has that 4th base. And he still has the ability to pump out great economy here. He's going to reclaim that position. All the storm energy is completely gone here. I think he has maybe 1. Yeah, he's got 1 storm at the moment. So any engagement he takes is going to be very risky here. Little blink forward is going to get picked off. And once again, Gerald, he knows he can't engage into this position just yet. He needs to bank up storm energy. He needs to watch out for those EMPs. Right, and behind this, I'm just glad he's chugging along with his economy, making sure that he still has very good unit count in the back of this. But he is going to get some really good engagement right here. Gets on top of the Ghost. One EMP does go down, but I don't know. This might be a little bit too much Terran here as the Colossus go down. It is pure Stalker, and he is going to have to be on the retreat. Vindicta. Oh, no. Okay, I was about to say Vindicta has a huge army, but that just got whittled down to size. Those disruptor hits just really going to make it hard to engage into this anymore. Gerald does have that second robo facility. He needs to utilize it. He needs to get started really on just full-on disruptor production, because those are going to be the best thing for him right now. Hands on the wrong side of the mineral lines. Looks like the Stalker is actually going to go to the wrong side as well. Small little run by, going to try and do what he can. Actually going to get a couple of Archons for his trouble. Good splits. As back here, it was all the diversion, but only 5 workers going down. That's just more room for army at this point, as Gerald starting to build up a bank. Liberator coming on in, getting a couple more workers for his trouble. And now Vindicta looks like he's going to be content to kind of adjust to this disruptor style by moving all over the map with these drops. Now he does need to be careful with this, because if he starts to like just trade out without doing any damage, he's just going to have a much harder time in the later stages. He's going to go straight for the Robo Facility, building the Warp Prism, and that is going to be fantastic damage. Now going to be jumping between that and the natural. Might even get +3. That was a very nice denial. Already, this is fantastic damage. Look at that, he's just in so many places at once. Gerald struggling, even though he's completely maxed out, to really effectively deal with this. "12 workers going down during all of that. And the question is, will he remake them? He still has a very healthy economy at 73. Vindicta has 76 himself, going up to his 5th base. Look at that. 3 warp prisms. I still like this army for Gerald. He has storms. Oh, sorry, hang on. There we go. My mouse was acting up. But Gerald, once again, gonna be looking to do some small run-bys, but very wisely, after it gets scouted, he is just gonna back up for right now. Huge EMPs going to do a lot to this army, and this, I think the Liberators do have range. It does look like they indeed do, which will be great for keeping these disruptors back. We got nukes on the way, tempests as well. Both sides just reacting very beautifully here. It's still anyone's game, which is just absolutely amazing at this point. Zealot's going to get on top of this. Keep in mind, they do not have that armor upgrade, so the Planetary still going to be able to do a little bit of damage. A little bit late on the repair. Will it be enough? Looks like it will. This SCVs get a great surround and do save that facility from going down. DTs, I don't think will really do too much here either, just because we do know that there are turrets everywhere. Huge warp in, however. He's just going to go straight for the economy of his opponent. SCVs going down left, right, and center. These are nice. The Ghost, however, in some very good locations. Gerald needs to realize where these are. And so far he has abandoned one base. One nuke launches and another one. 6 workers going down. Very good, but a big engagement right here. Just action all over the place. As Gerald, his army is starting to falter. He's trying to do all these multi-prongs just like his opponent, but it's not really working for him. Vindicta is a very solid rock here, and Gerald, he still has a very good bank, but it's going to start going down every bad engagement he takes. Ooh. Loses both War Prisms in the main base as well. So just nice pickoffs from Vindicta. I think at this point he can just pull his army together and actually just go. He has doubled the army supply, and all the units of Gerald are caught out on the middle of the map. Disruptors are making it hard to chase, but they're going down, so they are one-time use here. And with the AMPs, oh my gosh, this 4th base location is completely under fire. The Zealots tearing through this army, but without those shields, they are pretty much dead. Nukes at the top of the ramp as well, just a kind of insult to injury at this point. The EMP is actually revealing the DTs. More workers going on down, and I think Vindicta has won game number 1. It's all a matter of punching it in. Gerald trying to go across the map to get whatever damage he can, cut off the reinforcements, but at this point, Vindicta can just drop on top of the disruptors. It is so dangerous to fight those. Reinforcements for Gerald actually starting to clean things up a little bit, but the Marauders still going strong. It's just Stalker, 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 and the reinforcements are looking to clean it up. Almost doubled the supply. But Gerald still hanging in there with all of his might. He still thinks he can fight this, and looks like he's actually starting to push it back a little bit. The problem is his economy was just gutted, so any unit he loses right now will not be replaced very easily. Seven DTs, we're going to have to see what he can do with that. Maybe if he can kill off some of these bases going down, he can get back into it, but the economy of Vindicta is just so good. The unit comp is just spot on with what he needs. And I feel for Gerald here right now. He's going to get the Planetary Fortress, which is nice. But there's still just so many bases. Scan going down as well, going to reveal a couple of the DTs that went off. Like, he's canceling the bases, which is nice, but the thing is they still exist. He's not killing anymore. You can always just re-land them, return them into planetaries, and one DT, not going to be enough for that. As he tries to take his own 6th base, it just comes completely under fire. And Vindicta is looking to just plug the hole and finish up this game. The Disruptor's making it a little bit difficult to do so. But there's not that many shots left during all of this. Storms not really getting the damage they need done. They're being baited out. And the splits are absolutely fantastic here for Vindicta. The army gets caught. Disruptors go down. And that is going to be GG. Vindicta takes game number 1. Now we will be hopping over to the European server. As it's been a while, so I just gain every single achievement. But yeah, you know, Gerald still looked very strong in that game. And overall, he did make the adjustments he needed to, but Vindicta just got way too far in terms of what he's doing now. We're just waiting on Gerald to go ahead and join the Alpha Pro Series. And yeah, if you're liking this event so far, why don't you guys check out our Matcherino page. We've got some excellent stuff there for you to check on out. And if you use the Alpha Pro Series code APS111, then or 1119C, then you can add 50 cents to the prize pool for absolutely free. Those are the words I love to hear, by the way, guys. Free money. I don't get the free money, but yeah, these guys do. And, you know, every little bit helps. And our next map is already going to be coming on up. We're going to go to Triton. This is a very big mixture of those high and low ground bases. And that Zelnaga tower in the middle makes it very difficult to kind of move undetected through the center of the map. So we'll have to see how these guys are going to adjust, really, as we're going to be hopping in to game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Spawning in the bottom position. He's still got all series to go. It is Gerald for Blazer. His opponent in the top left, it is Vindicta. And with how he played that last game, he does have a Vindicta against his opponent. So already we do look like Gerald is just going to go for that really nice scout timing. He just wants to kind of confirm what's going on. And actually, Vindicta is going to go for a little bit of a scout around as well. He might be worried about some sort of proxy play. Actually just being very aggressive with that probe. Wants to try and get on top of it before it can get too much damage done. Gerald's whole goal here is kind of just to deny the CC for as long as possible. But Vindicta not going to have any of his pro-toss shenanigans. Probe does go down, I believe. Yeah, that is a really nice pick-off for Vindicta right now. And Yeah, we'll still have to see what Gerald has in store for this game. We did see that in the first game he did favor that Phoenix play on larger maps. So we might be seeing that again. We do have the Adept on the way, which kind of tells me this actually may be Stargate. I lied. Cast or cursed, everybody. We have a Twilight Council. Now the important thing is, will Vindicta scout this? Got the Adept coming on in. He needs to make sure that this not get scouted. Twilight Council is never good. Never good for a Protoss player. Or a Terran player, rather. So it's actually really important to see. The Adept gonna try and get on top of this Reaper once again. Has to be careful not to move too far forward here. And it does look like it's gonna be Blink. Blink versus a Widowmine style play. Interesting. Nice. The Reaper does evade the Adept, who has decided to go across the map. And actually, the Adept going the wrong way with his Shade. I think that was a bit of a misclick. He does cancel that. Well, these two kind of just being a nuisance. But have to be careful with them. Don't want to lose them early on. Seems like just like a couple small mistakes in this early game in terms of keeping that Reaper alive. And did he actually scout that out, actually? Okay, so he has seen the Twilight Council. He's seen that it's also upgrading something. So Vindicta does have the kind of information that he needs for all of this. And with the Robo facility as well, about to finish up, it's going to be just how much damage he can get done with this. Look at that Reaper still alive and still kicking. So behind this, it looks like Vindicta is going into defensive mode. He's got the Siege Tank coming up, the Liberator. It could move across the map, or it could be just to come at home. And this is a Protoss's worst nightmare. If you're not paying attention for a second, you can say bye-bye mineral line. Right now, it does not look to be a problem here, as Vindicta is going to be moving out. He wants to kind of beat that... sorry, excuse me. He wants to beat that Stalker play from coming across the map. He wants to make sure that he is safe in his own base. Gerald, though, has to be careful with how far forward he is. He's not in a great defensive position. He's just going for a couple of pickoffs and trying to slow this down as much as possible. Good blink away. Going to make sure he does not take any unnecessary tank shots. But so far, he has held this pressure, although he is taking a lot of damage on these Stalkers. The Widowmines did get in, and they actually got out as well. 6 drones going down. I think the Adepts came in as well. I'm sorry I missed that, guys. As a Liberator coming in as well. Wow, I am missing a lot this game. I apologize, guys. But we do have a lot of exciting action. As these Stalkers just doing everything they can, and now with the Immortal, they can kind of face these Siege Tanks a little bit easier. Just has to be careful not to take too many Siege Tank shots. Five more workers going down as the Liberator. Vindicta just all over Gerald at this point. Widowmine's even going to get out alive. One of them going to go for the third base. And so far, we just have a stalemate in the middle of the map. Taking a look at the income advantage, Vindicta using control of that that 3-base play here, and those mules just really helping him out a lot. Although he does get cleaned up in the center of the map, and he's still only on 2 bases. His 3rd base still in the main. I think the Widow Mine went down there without getting anything. Now we do see Colossus play. I certainly think that Gerald has been trying to sell that this might be disruptor play, but right now Vindicta doesn't really care at this point. He has a very strong army. These stalkers need to get out of there. You're not going to get too many picks. As Stim has been completed for a while now. Siege takes in a good position. These Colossus actually just completely on their own here, although we do have a full surround from Gerald. He's going to lose the Colossus to the Marauders. Good focus fire there. His second army in the back is going to go down. The tanks dying off, but there is not enough Zealots here to finish the job. The Stalkers in the back completely taken out, leaving him completely vulnerable to any kind of air attack. He's not going to have any energy for Storm. He needs to just morph Archons and survive at this point. This is one of those timings that a Terran player can do that absolutely railroads the Protoss player, especially with that line of blue coming across the map. It's not even a trickle. It is a full-on river, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to get on top of this. That Liberator is just completely unfazed in the sky. Vindicta actually just feels confident enough that he's going to go in and he's going to try and clean this up. Colossus completely under fire. You cannot have those without some sort of bottom or some sort of frontal defense. GG, Vindicta takes game number 2. And speaking of games, if you want a player 2 in your life, then you need to check out our sponsor, 24-Hour Fit. One sec, guys. Okay, let's try this again. You need to check out our sponsor, GameStop. They've always brought power to the players, but now with their new esports initiatives, they're bringing it to you, the actual players. Check them out in the esports community via the Match Arena website and add a little bit of prize pool while you're doing so. GameStop, power to the players. So we are just going to hang out for a minute because Gerald needed a second. And yeah, third map is going to be Disco Bloodbath. Just do a little bit on the side here, make sure everything is working for everyone. And yeah, hope you guys are enjoying the game so far. I know I am. You know, Vindicta's really showing his power as a Terran player. And Gerald, he's taking a second, he's recollecting himself, he's making sure that these games are going to go even better for him. And we're just going to get Vindicta into game here while we hang out for Gerald. But yeah, Disco Bloodbath I think is a pretty good map to kind of bring things back for Gerald. This is his map choice as it is a best of 9 losers pick for the map pool. And yeah, I think he has a lot of possibility to come back, as this kind of place has a lot of high ground where he can kind of sneak in with Stalker play. Phoenix would do very well as well because you have a very big airspace behind the main base. And yeah, just overall, it can be a very good map for any kind of cheeky shenanigans, as well as scouting the sides is very difficult, so any kind of hidden tech is very much appreciated here. Which, if you guys know Protoss, they are very good at hiding tech out on the map. Even better than Protoss, even better than Terran. And you guys know how good Terran is at hiding stuff around the map. There he is. We got our players, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna get this thing started. Game number 3. Soon as Vindicta says he is ready. And there we go. The countdown has begun. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. Protoss players, bring your energy for this guy. We want a long series. We don't want this to be a sweep. Okay, some of you want it to be a sweep, but that's because you're Terran. Like that's kind of how it goes. You always root against the Protoss as Terran usually. But we'll have to see, because spawning down here in the bottom, it's Vindicta. And his opponent hanging out in the bottom position. It's Gerald. So, the big question is, what kind of moves are we going to see out of Gerald in this game? We saw that he was a little bit slow to react to a couple of the choices of Vindicta, but that really doesn't push against him as a player, as Vindicta has shown he is a very aggressive player, very in your face, and force you to make mistakes. Overall, I think if Vindicta keeps up that trend, Gerald will be able to react and kind of move around a little bit easier because he knows it will be coming. But, there's still always that little bit of uncertainty when dealing with an aggressive Terran, because as Protoss, your whole goal is to kind of build up into those later tier units. You need AoE damage. You need some sort of burst damage against these guys. So we'll have to see what kind of burst damage he decides, as we do see a probe kind of going on a roundabout path here, and this kind of tells me it's going to be a proxy. Based on where it's going, I'm going to assume it's Stargate. Look at that, he actually does not have a lot of gas right now. He's Yep, there we go. It's going to be Stargate Tech. Once again, we see the safety adept needs to force that out as that Reaper is going to come on in. And the Reaper won't really see too much here. He needs to get a good pylon count. If he sees that there's one pylon missing, then he'll know something is up and actually gets the kiss of death here. So that is some great denied scouting information here from our Protoss, Gerald. Already a good start. Looking at this, we are getting geared up for a pretty aggressive push here. Is Vindicta. This two racks factory timing can do wonders if your opponent's not ready, and that faster stim, which came in the previous patch, really does mean it's difficult to have enough out here. As the Oracle comes in, however, there's not that many turrets, and the Marines are a little bit out of position here, especially with the Adepts pushing on the front. So they are doing a great job of being kind of super annoying, picking off some Marines as well. Actually not going to go in here either. It looks like he's being very safe with these guys. I kind of don't like that. I feel like he's missing a window here to move out. Yeah, looking at that, he's revealed the Oracle. And now the Widowmine is in a fantastic position in a way that you can't really get in this. So a bit of a misplay here from Gerald. If he would have gone into the main base, he would have gotten a little bit more, actually losing the Oracle, the second Oracle, to this as well. So 3 Oracle play, -1, not as good. So a couple of missteps here are going to cost him that Oracle and a little bit extra time. Vindicta is just going to be powering up here. I think at this point Gerald still doesn't really know what's coming. The 3rd Rax is already on the way. You got the double medevac. So this 2 Rax timing just going to really do some wonders here. But he does actually get a good revelation off. I think that's really going to be the saving grace of this. Will he have enough at home? These guys don't care. Like they already beat their sci-fi opponent, so they don't really care about what's going on right now. Kind of just using these guys for scouting right now. Needs to be careful as there are Widow Mines potentially hidden anywhere in this base. He is keeping his opponent back, however, which is just great. Although he's got to be careful because he did lose one of those Oracles. You got to keep those alive. They are so good for scouting information. And now Vindicta knows that he can move across the map. There's not that much at home to defend against this. It's currently double the army supply for Vindicta. Robo Bay. Colossus aren't going to be out in time for this. This is why this timing is so very scary here for the Protoss. He's in a decent position. He gets a scan. Doesn't see a lot, but he's still got to be careful because you do have multiple positions where you can hide some forces. I do like how kind of cautious he's being, because if you do stim in and get caught by more than you're really bargaining for, you're gonna have a bad time. Although I think he has enough to just take care of this. The Blinks backs, tries to get a couple more pickoffs, but will get taken on down. The Siege Tanks now get a wonderful position in the middle of the base. In the middle of the bases. Sees that high ground as well with the medevacs. And Vindicta did not leave enough in the back, but I don't think he really cares because his His force in the front actually going to start doing some work. Tries to get on top of the Colossus. That was a bit of a mistake. Actually going to get completely cleaned up here by Gerald. Excellent work by Gerald cleaning that up. Look at that, even going to get the Medivacs. That's a very expensive investment. So while Colossus Tech is delayed for just a couple of seconds by that pylon being sniped, now he's really has the opportunity to kind of power that up, as we do see it's going to be Liberators out of only one starport. So if he sticks with this Colossus Tech, he's going to have quite a bit of AoE damage to deal with this Terran opponent. Both sides have +1 attack, so I don't think upgrades are going to be as beneficial here. I can't say non-beneficial. I can say that they're not going to be as lopsided as they could be, as a lot of the times when you're going for certain plays, you can have some trouble getting those upgrades out at a good timing. It's a good idea where that Stargate is. But behind this, he's just going to be teching up once again to that Templar Archives. This does give Vindicta a lot of room here, but at the same time, getting that Templar Archives just really gets great burst damage versus a Terran opponent. Liberator gets 3 kills for his trouble. Not too shabby, if I say so myself. The second Stargate on the way as well. Now, here's something you gotta realize. He's having to remake a lot of those medevacs that he lost early on. So that does delay any kind of Viking production he may decide to go for. Behind this, he is just hanging out on the other side. The army's starting to look pretty scary here for Gerald. Both sides are really even in army supply, but Vindicta's whole army isn't together. He's going to try and focus down the 5th base, or 4th base rather, but he's not going to get it. And honestly, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get some sort of damage done, so he is just going to try and kind of be aggressive and move across the map. Ooh, Gerald tries a big attack forward, but is not going to get anything done as he goes straight into tank fire. You're not going to get through that with this army. Yeah, this position is just really good. He could get a good storm off on these SCVs if he wanted to. But once again, going to try and move on forward. Takes a lot of damage. Only gets 2 SCVs for that. Certainly not worth it, but this run-by might actually do something as it pulls away some of the army. Scan going down in the main base, you might think that there's an observer somewhere. But, you know, now Gerald is just in Vindicta's face. Good micro with the War Prism, going to try and save what he can. The Stalkers, however, have to be careful moving forward because there's just way too much tank fire. They just melt so quickly. Yeah, look at that. Tanks can even hit this position. The thing is, however, Vindicta isn't out on the map. All the power we've seen from him in this series has been a result of him being out aggressive on the map. But here, actually, it just looks like Gerald is trying to hit him where it hurts. And while Vindicta's not on the map, some of these engagements just really hurting. Zealots, however, going to get straight on top of the tanks, getting some good work on that mineral line as well. The army really just posturing at this point, not really a threat. But look at that, 17 workers. Gerald is hitting his stride. A lot of Dark Templars, and there's actually no detection with this. I don't know how far that goes. That's revealed. Oh no! Only gets one big storm off. He's going to try and recall the army, but that might have cost him a few more Colossus than able. Look at that. Stalker's going to go into the main base. So it's not all for loss here, but he will have to get on out of there. He's fully surrounded. 5 more workers going down. But the army of Vindicta is now looking very scary. He needs to keep him at home. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. But losing the War Prism is going to make that even more difficult. Taking a look at that income as well. Actually, Gerald does have that income advantage. He's up to 80 workers, and he did take out quite a bit of the economy. It's that army size you got to look at. He's only had one small drop, and it's just steadily going up from here. Now he's kind of using these zealots to kind of delay this push as much as possible. Tries to EMP the DTs. He knows that they're there. He just doesn't know where. And it looks like every attack path is being blocked by Gerald, which I kind of like. It's going to really keep a good position on this army, but he is losing quite a bit for it. Pickoff's not even really going to be worth it at this point, as you'll lose way more Stalkers than you'll effectively use the Disruptors. Get a couple of okay-ish connections, not really the best. The DT's actually going to get on top of this, wants to go for what he can. Needs to start splitting these off because there will be a scan available. Actually, not even going to waste one until just now. 15 workers going down. Wow. Gerald really bringing the hurt in this game. But will he have the army to finish it out? That is quite a lot of EMP energy. That is quite a bit less EMP energy. He's going to try and do it with Storms and Disruptors right here. Amazing Storms. Although I think he's completely out of energy. Yeah, he's just going to morph the Archons and try and hold on. Disruptors, ooh, they're in a bad spot. Don't get the connections that they need. It's all going to be up to these DTs, and they're actually starting to clean up this entire army. Wow, Gerald bringing it back. Is currently 2-1. GG. So we got a series on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. As we're just going to hang out here for a second to see where Vindicta is hiding. Everything is going good. hanging out. But yeah, that kind of just shows what happens if the Protoss player gets ahead like that. And that was exceptional play, taking full advantage of everything that he has to offer. Actually, just waiting on Vindicta right now. All right, it's going to be Ephemeron. And I do apologize for these kind of small delays between games. Unfortunately, the big thing is when you are switching servers like this, it can take a minute, especially since Blizzard servers aren't exactly the best. But these guys are very excited for this game. Gerald needs just a second. His phone is ringing off the hook. All the groupies, like, just showing them the love. They know he needs it, and he really appreciates it. He's taking those calls, telling them right on back that he loves them. He loves their support, and he hopes you guys give him all the support in the world. Let us do. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far. I know I am. It's a beautiful day outside, and I'm here watching some StarCraft with all of you beautiful people. So, like I said, the next map is going to be Ephemeron. This is, I like to call it the new bridgehead, because you do have those bridges straight down the center, which are really nice. It gives a stand-up position where you can really defend, and overall, it's kind of just nice to have those kind of maps. It's very wide. It's very easy to kind of get your units stuck, so it does require a little bit of management. But if you really want to get those great attack paths, you need to get on those bridges, or excuse me, those rocks on the outside. Very good for counterattacks and very good for the later stages. There are way too many groupies calling Gerald right now. So, I'm kind of curious, what do you guys... Just gonna get the final. I was about to say, kind of curious. What are you guys expecting from the rest of this series? So we have a lot here. I'm just making sure Vindicta is ready because it did take a little bit longer than normal to get things set up there. And you know, sometimes when things take a little bit longer, the players they kind of wander off. They want to go get a snack. They want to just kind of chill because these series are very stressful, especially since they've gone into such parts of such late game territory here for these guys. So without further ado, let's see if he wants to go late again, spawning in the bottom position. It's Vindicta. And his opponent, who does not know that there is an SCV out on the map, it's Gerald. He's ready and raring to go here. Gonna drop that one Rax. He will have the second one on the way as well. So this is just gonna be a 2 Rax, it looks like. It is gonna be Marines since the refinery has not started up. And I mean, behind all this, this is a very aggressive position to hide your Rax. If Gerald had scouted a little bit earlier, he would have seen what was going on, but so far he does not know that this is coming, and he actually does not have that probe out on the map to defend just yet. He's gearing up for the Reaper. Oh no. That's going to leave his buildings very undefended here. So far, I think Vindicta has successfully gotten this down. It's all going to come down. It's all going to come down to really if Gerald can kind of get those alarm bells ringing in his head before the first couple of Marines. Look at that, even sending the SCV in to kind of pretend like it's a scout. But now, Gerald probably knows exactly what's going on. The SCV at the top giving full range and full vision. And I don't know if he can hold this. Like, he needs to get the SCV. That's the first big thing. The Injibe didn't get a ton of health on it just yet, but that he doesn't really care. It's all about the vision for him right now. This is a lot of damage going down the Robo facility. Very reactionary here. He's got the shield battery coming up as well. It's all about holding on. This isn't even really a huge commitment here for Vindicta. He's already got one of the racks floating up just for vision, and the second one making Marauders, so that will slow down the production just a little bit. And look at that, landing right in the middle of the base. This is not looking good for our Polish Protoss player. There's a gateway. At the very least, he has a cybernetics core, which is okay, which is decent. That's going to help out a lot, but with Marauder slow, he's got a couple of those on the way. He really just needs Immortal, and for this shield battery to hold on up. Getting one of the Marauders is a good start to all of this. There are actually no shield batteries on the low ground though, so this is going to be a bit more difficult to handle. If he can kill off the racks as well, that would be really nice. Slows down the Marauder production. But this is still super dicey here. Yeah, really late shield battery in the back. Few good cancels. Gonna keep things going right now, and it's pretty much immortal, immortal, immortal right now. One of them has their shields, the other one just about to recharge it. And actually on the backfield, actually no, that was over here. My bad. Two SCVs did go down in this attack, but he's just using them to repair right now, keeping those Marauders safe. If he can get rid of the tech lab, this becomes so much easier to deal with. But he did actually just lose some of his shielding. Shield batteries really helping out. And the position is now forfeit for Vindicta. But he's got to stick around right now. If he doesn't stay, then Gerald is going to have way too much room to deal with this. Being very aggressive with the siege tank. He can't move that too far forward. There's just way too much splash with this immortal. It's not splash, excuse me. It's just way too much firepower. Good pickups on the Marauder, making sure that those do not go down, but the Liberator is completely going to be unanswered for. We have the Phoenix. I think he actually canceled it to make the Void Ray. But honestly, he just needs to sack this position. He needs to maybe recall these Immortals in the back. Oh no, he lost him. This is kind of a last stand here, but it doesn't need to be. He needs to get that high ground position. Losing this base is not important because his opponent is also only on one base. Hiding out in the bunker. War Prism getting attacked by the Liberator. There's still a lot at home. The Viking as well just going to shut down that War Prism hard. The economy is so low for both sides. Look at this. A really low econ game, which makes these Void Rays even more powerful almost. But as time goes on, I don't know. This is just still super scary here for Gerald. He's nowhere near clean this up. Although he's starting to do okay because there is not a lot of anti-air with this. But as I say that, this position is pretty much unbreakable for the time being. And he doesn't have anything out on the map. I wish he had a hidden probe somewhere. First prism going down. Second one, not even going to get that tank. There we go. It finally goes down. But I think Vindicta has almost done it here. Kind of a reverse Stargate cheese from the Protoss player. Now it's the Terran, and this just shows how powerful these kind of pushes can be. As he continuously gets pushed back. He's trying to set up a surround, but I think there's just way too much blue. He's going to go for it though. The final stand, the Immortals getting what damage they can done. The Cyclones not going down just yet. Starting to clean this up with charge, but the Cyclones still live. Just might barely have actually cleaned this up. Zealot actually being a hero here. Gets a hero pickup. You know, now that Gerald has cleaned that up, there's not a lot back at home for Vindicta. Wow, that was a hold and a half. It's currently up double the supply. And although he loses the War Prism, he still has a lot of power in these Immortals. and he has the ability to ferry those up to the high ground and straight onto the production. And that is gonna be all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. Gerald has tied it up once again. This series is just absolutely incredible. Gerald can't actually believe that he held that. And yeah, just waiting on Vindicta once again. He's taking a second to log on back into North America. I'm actually going to start labeling. We're going to hop right in. That was incredible. Even if you don't like Protoss, you got to admit that was absolutely incredible play. Out of Gerald, and Vindicta gonna hop right back into it with Winter's Gate. So we'll have to see if he wants any more shenanigans or if he's just gonna go back into that very standard, very powerful macro. After a series like this, make sure you're hydrating, guys, because you are gonna lose all the sweat sweating it out. Seeing who's gonna win. But after you're done sweating it out, let me tell you about a better place to sweat it out. Our sponsor, 24 Hour Fitness. With over 400 plus locations in the United States. One second, let me just make sure everyone's ready. Then I'll get back to my pitch. So with over 400 plus locations in the United States alone, 24 Hour Fitness gives you the power to build your own plan and build your own unique workout goals. They will help you along the way, and they will make sure that you become the best you. So check them out at the Maturino page alone. Adds a little bit extra to the prize pool as well, so it helps them out. And yeah, check them out. I believe you still get a 7-day free trial if you check them out. So yeah, there you go. 7 free days to see if it's for you. But you know what's for me right now? This game number 5, spawning in the top position. It's Vindicta. And his opponent down here in the bottom. Gerald. Or Geralt, depending on which server you're on. And yeah, that last build actually was really genius out of Vindicta. It was so powerful and really caught the Protoss player off guard, especially since he did not scout. So the fact that Gerald was able to hold that was really nice. And I am definitely stealing the build from Vindicta. And so good luck if you play Protoss on ladder, especially if you're in the 3.8 range, because that's going to be every game from now on. So no shenanigans. This time Gerald wants to make sure he scouts, and he does so very early on. Gonna just be that annoying probe once again. Making sure that CZ doesn't go down, although he might lose it again if he's not careful. But now, you know, these guys have kind of figured each other out in this series anyway, as they've seen each other's builds, they've seen what really works for the other side and what hasn't so far, so they can really start to tailor their builds for the remainder of the games. Still have a potential 5 here, as this is best of 9. And this time, you know, Vindicta might be thinking that there's some sort of retaliation for the last game, but so far there is nothing coming across. Although look at Vindicta, holy cow, he is just moving so fast right now. Now the purpose of having a high APM early on is really just kind of warm your fingers up for the later stages of the game when you actually need the APM. So if that's the case, Vindicta is building a bonfire on his keyboard right now, and he will be completely warm for when he needs that epic micro we have seen out of him. Although right now it does look like he's going to get a nice pick off with this Adept. Nope, just barely gets on out of there. The Reaper, though, going to hunt down his old arch nemesis and move across the map himself to try and get a little scouting information. He has not seen the Twilight Council just yet, but he does get the Kiss of Death. Essentially what the Kiss of Death is if an Adept gets 2 shots off and then the Shade is touching it the entire time, then it is instantly going to die. So you need to get as much information as possible. Which unfortunately he did not. That is a beautiful position. Although the thing is, a Reaper could have jumped up there and seen it instantly. But Vindicta, being the smart player, knew that that was going to be walled off, so he did not think to jump up there, which is actually why it's a 3000 IQ build, or a 3000 See, it's so good, I can't even explain it because I don't have the brain power to know how good it was. Definitely not going to get in. Lovely position on that Widowmine, just in case it's Stargate play once again. And we're actually going to see Banshees here. Unfortunately, this might not work out as well, just because, you know, there's already observers on the field. Blink is complete. Could be seeing Charge here anytime now. And behind this, we do have Colossus on the way. Vindicta is just powering up. It's going to rely on those Banshees to get some work done. The Observer is going to be coming in as well to see what is going on. The Widowmine actually going to make the first step to see what's up. Seacheng going on down, which is a really nice little pick-off. Didn't really lose too much for it. The Banshee. It's going to move in now as you see the Widowmine got a little bit work done. Actually just walked right on in, which was really nice. Banshee going to get a little bit more work done. He's actually going to recall an Observer, it looks like. Oh, that was a really nice bait. Gerald, though, quick on his feet. And we do see, you know, we got the pretty standard fare for Gerald right now. He's got the Colossus, he's got The Blink Stalker's charge has completed as well. I think the Widowmine just got taken out by the cannon. Yeah, both sides once again just powering up. So we've kind of gone back to that first couple of game kind of style here, wherein both sides just getting ready for those big aggressive pushes. And we see a big scan going down, revealing the gateway explosion. That's always a good thing to scout out as the Terran player, because you know it means that there's possibly going to be a big attack coming your way very, very soon. You don't just throw down a bunch of random gateways as the Protoss. You know, the Stalker's doing a really good job of just getting that map control as well. They're going to have a very good indication of whether anything's coming out. And really just doing a good job of kind of defending those attack paths without pushing themselves too far forward. It's a bit of a soft contain, almost. Just doing his best to cover as many paths as possible.
Base under siege.
Finds a nice little zone. Still within tank range, however, so not gonna get too much for it. Yeah, behind this, he's getting all the tech choices he could possibly want, as Vindicta is gonna move on to his patented tear him apart with drop style. Gets one of the Medivacs, always nice. Yeah, Vindicta really just kind of trying to set himself up. He's moving out very cautiously on the map. He's not moving too far forward. He does get a good scan on what this army is really composed of, and that's going to be the trigger for him to move in with those drops. Look at that, now that there's a recall, he's just going to go straight into the main base, although the Stalker warping going to just say no thank you to that. Only problem is the fact that Gerald really does need to keep these units here, because if you move those away, you're going to lose more probes at this stage. Another blink forward, trying to get into this position, but that's really just known as the Terran Death Trap at this point. The Zealots going towards the fourth base, they get taken out as well. So just very passive out of Vindicta, and it's really paying dividends because Gerald is just throwing units away at this point. In these drop plays, however, starting to do some work. 2 more workers going down. He hopefully doesn't want to lose the base. He's going to try and focus fire it. Is it going to be enough? It looks like it is, but on the other side of the map, Gerald has decided to push. He's got to be careful with that War Prism. He still has some Storm energy left in it. Those Storms just doing so much work. The EMPs missing the High Templars with the high energy. As it looks like this position has been almost completely overrun. The Liberators are falling. The siege tanks trying to hold strong, but they are no dice here. As the SCV count starts to fall, this little bit of an effort from Vindicta is starting to falter. EMPs once again not getting the Archons, which is the big deal. And it looks like the Protoss wave has overwhelmed the Terran. GG once again. Gerald, after going down 2 games in this series, has brought it back in a big way. And we're going to be jumping again, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know how this series can get any better. Gerald on an immediate turnaround from the last couple of games. And it's just incredible to watch. 1 second, guys. I am going to go turn on a light. I forgot that it's the middle of winter and it becomes dark at like 2:30. So 1 sec on that. Still, this is just a really good series, and if you know someone who's not watching this series, first of all, you go over to their house and you slap them and you say, "What are you doing? Why are you not watching Gerald versus Vindicta?" And you know what they're gonna say? Most of them, in my experience, are gonna say, "Dude, I don't watch StarCraft." And then you're gonna slap them again and say, "You're gonna start," and then you're gonna bring them to this channel and you're gonna show them this game. Because we are going to Acropolis, and we're going to keep this moving. As I say, we're going to keep it moving. Gerald's cat is hopping into the fray, and as you know, cats do not mix with StarCraft. Okay, they can mix with StarCraft. I mean, if I saw a little kitty playing StarCraft, I would instantly fall in love. Although you'd have to get a really tiny keyboard because they don't actually have movable fingers. So anything other than a move, like a click, would be a struggle. So they're about, I'd say a cat could probably hit around gold level. Maybe high, maybe higher if he gets some good opponents. Just hanging out. Checking out what's going on the universe. But yeah, this is an epic series, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. We should. All right, let's get it on started. Hopping straight into it. Yeah, I think Acropolis is going to be one of the most fun, as we've kind of seen Acropolis for a little bit longer than most of the other maps. Unfortunately, it does seem like it is going to go away within the next map pool. So get your games in, guys. You only got one more, or one, yeah, about one more week with it. But you know what? These guys are going to show us what you can do with that 1 week, because spawning in the top position or bottom position, it's Vindicta. And his opponent is the red Protoss. I forgot what he was for a second. It's Gerald. With the home field advantage for this game as well. We're playing this one on the EU server. Vindicta. He's not going to go for that cheesy build we saw. Instead going to be going for what looks to be standard play for the time being. Saw he loves to get that scouting information with the Reaper. He hasn't really deviated from that just yet, but we have seen a good variety of builds here from both sides, which I'm really just enjoying because it really shows a lot of flexibility in their play. A lot of times when you see show matches like this, they're kind of hiding some builds from each other, but these guys are just going at it with everything in the kitchen sink. Look at that, even Vindicta going to be getting a really big scout off, just trying to make sure that nothing crazy is going to go on in this game as well. But it does look like this probe did get that little bit of information that he usually does. Might actually be hiding it from the Reaper. But as I say that, oh my gosh, that was literally a pixel away from disaster for this guy. Although Vindicta is able to kind of make sure that he doesn't get too much scouting information stolen from him. And the probe did get stuck right there. So no harm, no foul. But the Adept, however, is going to harm and foul this Reaper. Force him back home for the time being. Really good placement of that mine. Going to keep him alive for a little bit longer. Behind this, we're back to the Stargate play. Just really being able to use those Reaper grenades is so important. Keeping that Reaper alive this late into the game is great for scouting information. And the big information he needs is how many Phoenix are coming on down. The thing is, if you see about 4 or 5, and you see that he's still pumping them out, then you can know that it's full Phoenix play. But a lot of the times, what Protoss players will do this day is just kind of make sure that they make 5 for the harassment, and then just go straight into Robo Twilight Council behind it. It looks like once again we're going to be trying some Banshees out of Vindicta. Fortunately, once again, just not as powerful when there is big flying things that shoot air units. Good positioning here out of Vindicta, however, going to make sure that those guys do not get into the main base just yet. He really wants to hide these Banshees for as long as possible now that he knows these are on the map. Although he does find a weak position here, going to get one of the mules that was still halfway done. Excellent little pickoffs here. And we see that we're going to have some more Adepts. So this is actually looking like Phoenix Adept. This is really interesting. We haven't seen this style in a long time. And as I say that, he is throwing down the Robo facility. So this is just a light harassment of Phoenix Adept. Gotta be careful with the Phoenix. He did not lose one. He's got to be careful with the Adepts as well. Does not want to lose too many of them, as they are pretty much all he has on the ground. The Laying that engineering bay is huge, however, since the upgrades will be delayed, but the Banshee going straight down. That's the pickoffs you need. The second Banshee gets a couple of kills, which is always nice, but the recall will make short work of it. Third base almost complete for Gerald, so he's a little bit ahead in that regard. Going straight into Colossus play as well. Overall, I think he's put himself into a really nice position. Just the number of Phoenix moving across, making it difficult for Vindicta to kind of move out. He sees that Stim is on the way. He doesn't know how long that is. And unlike the last game, when there was only a couple of Phoenix that got taken out by the Cyclones, he still kept all of them alive. I think he's only maybe lost one? No, he actually hasn't lost any. Some good odds. Although he does have to be careful if he will kill the first one. And he's just going to be going around. He sees the army moving out, so now the Phoenix's big job is to pick off the reinforcements. Hopefully with that he can slow down these forces moving across the map as well. But yeah, he's doing a really good job of picking off the reinforcements for this time being. The siege tank can't move anywhere right now. And so instead he's just going to try and go for the main base as well. But the Warpins already go down at the third base, so he's going to have to recharge those. These Phoenix just doing so much work. Charge not complete just yet, but it doesn't even really matter because Vindicta has decided that he doesn't want to try and he's just going to go on home. It's going to be close, but it does look like he is going to get it. Plus one armor is going to be denied. Behind this, it looks like Gerald feels confident enough to move out on the map. Phoenix, though, not going to be able to pick this off, and they will reunite with the main army as we see not Stim, Templar Archives will be finishing up here pretty darn soon. It's an eerie quiet over the battlefield right now. As these Marines know they need to pick up and get out of there, leaving their comrade behind. Now this is also just a really tough position to get through once again. Vindicta is really good on the defense in these positions. But the difference is there are Phoenix to pick up those tanks. There's not a lot of anti-air, but here we go. The tanks instantly getting picked up. One of the tanks not firing on the main army. This position is starting to get overrun, but the Terran still has quite a few forces. I don't think it's going to be enough, however, and Gerald goes up to match point. We go to NA for the potentially last game of the series. Wow. Just an incredible play from Gerald right there. He has really hit his stride. And you know what that means, guys? If you want to hit your stride as well, you check out our sponsor, GameStop. They've always brought power to the player, but now you need to check out their new initiatives, including some of the top esports professionals and some of the top esports coaches in the world. So check them out at the Matcherino page above, and add a little bit of money to the prize pool in doing so. And with that, we're going to head on to World of Sleepers for our... Yep, this is the last map. So if Vindicta brings it back, which I think he has a very good chance to, we should be seeing a repeat of the map pool. And this time there are no delays, no cats, no phones, just StarCraft, as we are hopping straight into World of Sleepers. A lot of options for the later stages of the game. So many different third bases you can potentially take. And we'll have to see how these guys are going to do it. This is gonna be the fight of the century. Spawning down here in the bottom position, it's Vindicta. And his opponent hanging out in the top, looking to close it out. It's Gerald. Or Gerald, depending on if you're a Witcher fan or not. We'll have to see if there's going to be any shenanigans in this game. The last time Vindicta tried it, he had a really good start, but then he got shut down hard. It was pretty much, he started out as the rebellious school child, and Gerald just brought out the cane. He was the head nun of the reform school, and he brought down the hammer. Straightened Vindicta out, but Vindicta still has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. And we'll have to see how he is going to use them. Look at that. He's even going to be trying to deny the nexus of his opponent. Slow things down as Gerald has been doing to him. Even killing the probe. That is a really nice start for Vindicta. Doesn't want to lose the second one during all this. Fun thing about Terran during all of this is he can still just throw that down and lift it up, but any kind of delay like that is really hazardous in the early game, especially even if it's just a couple of seconds to pick it up and put it back down. I'm curious to see which tech choice we're going to be seeing out of our Protoss, as we've seen him go for both Twilight and Stargate tech during this series. And right now it's the Reaper's turn. So far it's just the depths. And there you have it. We've got the Stargate on the way. And one of the big things is there are enough depths here to kind of delay this, but I do think that this was scouted. It was. We'll have to see if he clicked on it or not. Actually gets the guy as he's going up the cliff. Really nice. It's going to be Widow Mines. You know, that's kind of the safer option when you're dealing with Oracles. Unfortunately, like Gerald's shown, that he prefers Phoenix in these series. A little bit harder to deal with. Although losing the Adept is not a good start for it. as you really just want to use these adepts to put on the pressure back at the natural, and then move in with your other flying units. Yeah, this like he's going full anti-Oracle build right now, which should help him out quite a bit with this Phoenix play. He's going to be moving out. They just have to really be careful for the hidden landmines. They are everywhere. Not enough to kill off one just yet, but does soften him up quite a bit. Not even going to get the Widowmine. The Viking saves the day. Good start. Really good start for Vindicta. Behind this, we do see the Robo facility has completed. We got the Twilight Council almost halfway done at this point, and yeah, that kind of shows that he's not really going to engage too much further with these Phoenix. He had some great success in the last game, but you don't want to overdo it, especially when you see how hard your opponent is trying to counter that Stargate base play. I'm going to assume we're going to be seeing Colossus once again. It's really been kind of the bread and butter of Gerald's composition. But right now, he does have the Immortals and going into charge. Behind that, we'll have to see what he's going to go past that, because while Immortal Charge Lot is very powerful, you really do need to hit a solid timing with it in order to make it work. And that window is just really falling short every single second. Take a look at that income, that army size. Vindicta's starting to skyrocket ahead, and if we take a look at the income advantage, really even. Not really any damage done to either side just yet. Look at that. Vindicta actually going to be going for the very aggressive third base location. So his reward for that he will have that extra gas. Oh no. He sees the medevacs. Nice pickoff. And Storm is going to be on the way as well, so Vindicta, he has a very scary army. He's got the ghosts on the way. Really just needs to realize that his whole army is being watched at this point. As long as the observer remains completely still, he should be safe. So, other than the Storm, there's not really that much splash damage in all of this. You know, no Disruptors, no Colossus. Kind of interested to see what he's going to do with this, because once that EMP upgrade completes, it becomes so much more difficult to engage this with just gateway units. So let him go back. But you know, Gerald knows what he's doing, and he might be able to clean up the position once again. The Warp Prism on the way. There is no missile turrets in the main base, so if you're not careful, you can sneak that Warp Prism in very quickly. Yeah, both sides really just powering up, giving each other a lot of respect in that regard. Gerald, he's got that 4th base up and running. Just gone down for Vindicta. Mortal dying off. That was not the greatest trade. There's enough ghosts with huge amounts of EMP energy here. Gets a really nice one. A lot of that storm energy goes on down. Few units pad a little bit poorly, so they will get taken on out. And as the Protoss, you have to be careful with how you engage this. Because those EMPs mean that your entire army will get shredded. So far, he picks off a couple of the units and just backs away, staying between the enemy army and his main base. See, the Liberator gets a couple of kills in the back. Trying to bait out those Zealot charges. And I think overall Gerald is okay, relatively, in this position. Those ghosts just get scarier and scarier, and there's not a lot of storm energy here. He's only got 3 High Templars worth. Disruptors, really nice on the retreats though, because that will make sure that those, since there's not enough Liberators around, those disruptors can make it very difficult. But here we go. Gerald just going to jump on top of this. A lot of the ghosts in the front start to get picked off. Storms are good. Maybe a feedback or two to finish off the ghosts, but they will get healed up as time goes by. Excuse me. Liberator actually at the 5th base, getting some good work done, forcing a defensive warp in. And I'm really liking that. He's just doing whatever damage he can at this point. Just barely misses the Medivacs. But he does force them to go back home. This position not super strong here for the Terran, but looks like we do have an impatient Gerald. He's going to try and move in on all of this. EMPs not really getting the damage they needs done, and actually I think this was a mistake. Gerald's about to lose a lot here. The Stalker's blinking on back. Warpism might actually go down as well. It does. And that is a huge blow for Gerald's army. Really nice connection there, however. Gets a lot of those higher energy ghosts. Really, it's just up to the retreat here. How many units can he pick off? How slow can he make this attack? Liberator jumping off once again to go towards that 3rd base location. Keep in mind the Liberators also don't have range. The Disruptors can still get pretty close to this. Although Vindicta is going to try and hit from multiple locations at once. You see, the same is true for Gerald. He's going to send a little bit of a Zealot reaction. And this does get scattered before it hits the main base. So that is always good. The Liberator is going to get picked off after getting 4 workers. These are the moves that Vindicta needs to make now. Zealots finally get cleaned up on the side after getting amazing damage done. Once again, the upgrades are under fire. It's only shields, so he does have that +3 armor. And he will actually get +3 attack as well. So great pickoffs from Vindicta. But will it be enough, as his entire army is going to be coming across? Actually not. Yeah, he's going to actually get the Archons here. The Disruptor on the back, going to get a decent connection with a couple of Marauders. And I don't know why he's remaking 3 forges, but you do you, Gerald. He still has that really sizable army. He's actually going to be picking off units on the retreat. The Liberators, the saving grace, are going to do what he can to make sure that that does not come any further. The fleet beacon and a couple of extra stargates, so Tempest production should start relatively soon here. As we see another Zealot run by going to be going towards that 5th base location. Or 4th base location, or 6th base. Can't count. Gets a really high energy Ghost. Nice pickup right there. Now, he does have a lot of disruptors here, but he also doesn't have a ton on the backfield of that. He doesn't have any gateway units to defend with it. He's getting Shadow Strike with his DTs, so he's going to be looking to do more work overall. But he keeps cycling around, which I really like. The disruptors getting some really good connections. Storms whiffing a little bit, but there's not that many ghosts just left. They're forced to move around and not use their EMPs. And while Gerald is taking a lot of army hits, he's really trading blow for blow right now. Run by doing immense work. He's just picking off Liberators and blinking on out. Trying to get the base, but I don't think he will. He might just be sacrificing. Actually, as I say that, he picks it off. Might even get a lot of these units before getting taken down as well. And once again in the main base, Disruptors just getting amazing hits. Gotta be careful though, he does not want to bleed out too many of these Disruptors. They are very difficult to remake in large amounts of numbers. That bank is getting higher and higher as well. Everything and its brother to try and kill that guy finally gets him. And now Gerald kind of has a bit of a soft contain right now, in the sense that Vindicta can't really move out. His army's been reset, and Gerald, for the longest time, he's had a lower army supply, but now he's firmly in the lead in that regard. Small drop going to be coming down. Actually picks off all the cannons and the nukes. He needs to realize where that is. Move his units. Gerald, please. Please, my brother. He's going to be moving in. He doesn't actually see it. He might lose a few of these Disruptors. Okay, doesn't actually lose any of the Disruptors, which is nice, but he does get a good cancel off on that 6th base. Once again, the Storms, another nuke going on down, but this time he does see it miles in advance. Oof, there's so much action going on. I'm losing my breath talking about it. And now Gerald is just doing this amazing dance overall, where he's making sure that his opponent never knows where the next attack is going to come from. He finally resets this position once again with the main base, but this army from Gerald is maxed out and it is super scary. Every time Vindicta sets up in a position, he has to set up in the next one because of how mobile Gerald is being. Another base going to go down. 11 workers. I think another nuke must have landed. Actually, no, it's just this Liberator hanging on out. 2 Liberators even. Gerald, he's not really paying attention to that right now. He's doing his best. Huge Disruptor hit going off. And that is going to shred the army of Vindicta once again. A lot of the Tempest did go down during all of this. So overall, the income from Gerald is actually not that good. He's being delayed in that for a long time. Ooh. DT's gonna make another pass at that base, I reckon. And these guys are just trading blow for blow. Vindicta has not ever had a bank in this game. Gonna go straight for this base once again. Tries to do what he can to pick off this position. No dice. He's gonna jump right on top of this. No detection. Once again, he's gonna get the 5th base. A good drop from Vindicta. Gonna do what he can. Nukes as well is just trying to stem the tide. Gerald not paying attention once again, however. The DTs got caved off. Nukes all over the place. He's trying to do what he can to shut down the Tempest production. If he can do that, he is in a much better position. The scans doing what they can. Just one more nuke and that position is toast. Gerald still has a huge army. He does not have +3 attack. He's just now realizing that. Or he realized that just a little bit ago, so it's just now cleaning up. A lot of workers have gone down in this game. Just take a look at that. 53 to 65. But here we go. Once again, the Liberators sieging on up. The Vikings doing what they can. And this is just way too much Terran. Gerald has to back on up. His army supply starting to plummet. This is not good. He's lost all of his Tempests. The DTs not doing enough damage at either. I think Vindicta with this push might actually be doing it. DT's gonna do what they can. There's plenty of EMP energy. He does not need to waste the scan. And now he's on top of the production of the Protoss Storm. Or nukes going down on the last couple of bases. He's backing up for the time being, but that's only to reinforce with the rest of the blue. Tempest almost goes into the splash. And I think slowly but surely Vindicta is starting to work his way back and actually might take this game. The supply is telling a big story here. Though the economies of both sides still hurting pretty badly. Take a look at that income advantage. Slightly in Gerald's favor. Disruptors are still a big threat here. The GT is getting taken out. Does not get the ghost. The EMP's going to be so important in this fight. The DT's going to town, picking off what they can, but they finally get taken out. The Viking count being lowered as much as possible. He needs to slow down this push, and he can do that with some great storms right there. This is, oh my gosh, the supply has just been swinging back and forth. The ghost, it's stuck in the army. Gonna pick off another base. Vindicta doesn't have that many mining bases left. He's got this one and this one. Gerald has a couple extra. Gonna go straight for the Tempest production once again. First one lands. This one doesn't. That one got picked up. Oh, it's just neck and neck, non-stop aggression, non-stop action from both sides. All the disruptors are dead. Gerald, though, is the only one with a bank. He's trying to get the planetary, but it's just not working. Wow, wow, wow. These guys really do not want to end this game, and we are seeing some top-tier StarCraft right now. One of the final mining bases of Gerald is going to go down. And he's going to answer by sandwiching this army. There is no recall with this, but is there enough Protoss? It does not look like it. He's going to lose all of these Stalkers. And actually, he does not have a lot of mining left here. Starting to get pushed back a little bit more. Trying to take these bases. Really just needs to reestablish himself, get those, just get the right units. That's all I'm asking for Gerald. He wants to keep this game going and finishing it out. Vindicta not giving him the time to do so. One full mining base in the bottom corner. I think at this point, I don't know what you do with Gerald. You just need to sacrifice this position, cancel that up, and maybe just try and expand down here. Vindicta wouldn't know that it was coming. Both sides, however. I mean, Vindicta not so much hurting for income right now. He still has a very healthy economy. Gerald, not as healthy, but here we go. A big engagement. Huge EMP is going on down. Gerald does not want to take this just yet. One disruptor shot, not enough to finish this. The DTs coming in, doing what they can. The disruptors really just forcing the micro out of Vindicta, trying to slow everything down. Zealots getting taken down in the back, and I think actually there might be enough Protoss here. And once again, it just seesaws. You gotta look at the supply, but it's very, like, you can look at the supply all you want. Gerald has still been winning these engagements with far less supply. Liberators, saving graces, making sure that the economy of Gerald never recovers. The Zealot actually going to reveal that this base is next on the chopping board. Good luck. Good luck, you brave souls trying to kill a +3 Zealot. This location has just got to be the most radioactive in the world. Hey, this game is not over yet, Mystic. Do not count Vindicta out just yet, but this is just action-packed, and this is Sparta. That is almost the entire economy gone, and with that, he's not going to be able to replace this army very easily, while Vindicta still has some mining bases out. And it looks like with this going down, we'll be going into game number 8. Go Vindicta, bringing it back. He's showing that he does not want this series to end. An absolute marathon of games coming out, and that does mean, guys, that we have more StarCraft for you. We're going to be resetting the maps. And speaking of marathons, if you want to train for a marathon, or even just get up off the couch and go for a really good run, check out our sponsor, 24 Hour Fitness. With their 400+ locations open 24 hours a day, you can run a marathon, you can jump the highest hill, and you can play those games just like they were second nature to you. So check them out at our match arena link above. Also check out our APS 1119C at 50% to the prize pool. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going into game number 8. Just gotta see yeah, after a game like that, sorry, excuse me. But after a game like that, I can understand Mystic needing a minute. That was just so action packed, and those kind of games. And it looks like we're going to be heading back to Ephemeron to try and close things out. Remember, guys, hydrate, 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 especially after a game like that. See what Vindicta has to say because just waiting on him. Yeah, that game. I could talk about that game for the rest of the series, and it would not be out of place to do so. Would just Vindicta has elected Nabe. Alright, no problem. Once he gets back, we'll start this up. We do not I do not want to bring the momentum of this series down, but as we saw in the last matchup on this map, this is Vindicta's cheesy cheese map. Saw a really smart, really top tier play out of Vindicta, but fortunately Gerald still took that map from him. So we'll have to see if he can do it again. This is still match point for Gerald. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Time to party. The question is, after a series like this, it's obviously very late in Europe. Do you try and close it out quickly? Do you just stick with what is working? That is the question we are going to have to answer because these guys are back in it for game number 8. Spawning. The top of the bottom of the map. The same thing if you're in Australia. It's Gerald. His opponent clawing his way back in that game and looking to claw the series. It's Vindicta. No shenanigans this time. He wants to earn this win, and he wants to earn the money, the 70% split of this prize pool, the old-fashioned way, the old Terran way, by winning through all adversity. Standing above him is the King Gerald, though. And one wrong move, and the mutiny will be crushed. So far, he's just going to be an absolute nuisance right now. The raiding party going to be delaying that command center for a little bit longer. which is always kind of nice to kind of just throw your opponent off. But look at that, Vindicta, he doesn't care. He's Terran. His buildings fly like an eagle. And back at home, he's just gonna get that scouting information, see that it is relatively normal. In a Hero Marine move. Gasm. Obviously Hero Marine. Big Gabe. Really good Terran to Hoppy. So glad that Vindicta is doing so. And look at that. Bro, trying to sneak his way in, but the Reaper still not across the map. He's going to come home. And his life is not for Ire. It's for Ephemeron. Actually, wouldn't his life be for Poland? Probably. Let's go with that. Seeing once again that Stargate play, it's been Gerald's bread and butter in this series. We're going to survive for a little bit longer because of that bunker. And actually, the Adept going to get in. Oh, this is so bad. It's going to delay that factory. And although the Adept is dead, that's great scouting information. He sees nothing cheeky in the base. The second Adept just going to walk into the natural unhindered. Just look at how hard Vindicta is having to deal with this. It's really taking his focus away, or it really could take his focus away from the build. I can't say that it is, because he's still a very focused player. Oracle moving across. No Widow Mines to defend this time. It's pure Marine. Looks like it's going to be that way for a little bit here, as got Tech Labs on the way. And very cautious, but he does get the fresh fuel. Wants to get that really weak one. And just barely gets it. So 3 workers, including a mule. That was a very nice pickoff. Now that he has these oracles out on the map, it's going to be difficult to get things past him, as he does have that revelation. And it's very, very simple for him to keep a good, close eye on the Terran arm. We have a Raven on the way. Very early Forge, so upgrades are very important to Gerald's play as well. Just barely loses the Oracle, does not want to lose the second. So I think in the long term that was a better trade for Vindicta. The Cyclones lose a lot of utility later on with the main army. Very interested to see when Vindicta is going to be moving out. Stim is well on its way, and he has quite a few little bio forces. The Cyclone though trying to get out of range, and it does not do so. The Raven does not want to expend its energy just yet. But losing another Oracle, might even lose the second. No, he does not, but still, that makes this Oracle a lot less effective later on in the game. So overall, these trades starting to favor Vindicta quite a bit. I'm interested to see what Gerald's game plan is from here, though. Right now, he's kind of just toying around with the Adepts, showing that there might be a possibility that he can get some damage done with them. Have to be careful not to cancel that shade too late. And unfortunately for him, in the next patch, you're not going to be able to cancel said shade. So, good luck to Protoss players adapting to that. I'm going to wish you the best of luck with it. But 2 workers going down as Vindicta's going to move across the map. The Oracle coming in once again unopposed. Stim is now done, so he needs to get out of there. He might just barely survive. If Vindicta was paying attention, he would get that. But here we go. We'll have to see how much is at home. It's a lot of his own troops as well with that. And all the Dorito dust is squarely in the backfield of this Protoss army. On the retreat, Vindicta is losing quite a bit. The army supply is pretty equal, however. Losing the Oracle. There's no detection with this. Those Widow Mines are going to be a lot more powerful. Trying to bait the Widow Mines into the opposing army. Really sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Gerald once again just has this really aggressive style in terms of keeping his units out on the map, forcing the Terran player to stay at home and defend. And this time, there's not really a lot of splash damage with this army. He's only got the Widow Mines, and those are only good for one-time use, which is even less so since there are Blink Stalkers out. Got 1 drop going towards the 3rd base. Does have a nice position to kind of jump around. He can wedge himself right there and actually get a huge amount of unpowers. Gerald is gonna answer that with a little drop of his own. Storm on the way, Ghosts as well. They're all once again going for the no Colossus style. Might throw in some Disruptors as well later on, but right now it's just pure Gateway units and a couple of Immortals. Gets a really nice pick off there as well. Liberator has begun, and the War Prism actually get quite a bit of damage done. Stalkers, however, are not in position for this. Warp is started to go off. He wants to get a warp in the main base, but there are some Marines in position. That's getting taken out, but ooh, big shots on those Widow Mines. As the Liberator is still doing work on that 3rd base location. Forcing a defensive warp in. Back at home, and Gerald will back up into his Storm energy. No Ghost out with this just yet, so this is a very powerful time for him. Okay, first couple of Ghosts have made their way. They need to get a good EMP. Storm's kind of whiffing almost. Gerald spills blood in the water. The first EMP does not stop the Storm. There's still a couple of Storms left here, blanketing Vindicta's army. I don't think there's enough Protoss here to finish it off, however, but he is losing quite a bit of his supply. The War Prism in the main base as well. Oh no, this is going to be very difficult for Vindicta to come back from. Even losing the Ghosts. Oh no, everything is starting to fall apart for Vindicta. Another huge warp in of Zealots as he moves towards the 3rd base, and that is going to be our series, ladies and gentlemen. Gerald is your Alpha Pro Series champion. An incredible series. Gerald fought his way back so hard from that 2-0 deficit, and that was an amazing series. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. But that is going to be it from us here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember that Matcherino coupon still good for a little bit, so go ahead and add to that prize pool. It is completely and utterly free. Doesn't cost you a thing, and it really helps out the scene a lot. So thank you guys for tuning in. I've been Passer. You can find me at the Twitter link below if you like what we do here, and you can always check out the Alpha Pro series. There are quite a few of them. You know, we're up to 126, and as far as I know, they've only been going for about a year now. So, quite a bit more StarCraft on the way, especially in this WCS bubble where there's not too much StarCraft going on. So, once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you at the next big thing. Peace.